Hey everybody, Ryan here. Gonna do a season preview for the Boston Bruins this year. Alright. And yes, that is the most current Boston Bruins B wheel. It is changed a few times over the years. Stayed generally the same, but this is the current one. Alright. So their additions this year, they added Craig Smith, $3.1 million per year for 3 years. Callum Booth and Craig McCaig each on 1 year $700,000 deals. The Craig Smith edition, I think, is going to be a good one. It's going to help their offense. And he's going to add something for their team that I think they've been missing, that secondary scoring. So I think that will be helpful, but we'll have to see. Alright, who they lost? Alex Petrovic went to Calgary, as did Joakim Nordstrom. I think Nordstrom probably be the one they missed the most of. The people they've lost are maybe Torrey Krug and Chara if he doesn't come back. Krug went to St. Louis, and I think that one hurts, but I think it's manageable. Maxine Legacy, basically their third or fourth goalie, went to Pittsburgh. Joakim Nordstrom, like I said, went to Calgary. And Zdeno Chara is a free agent, but pretty much has said the only way he's going to come back is if it's with Boston, so I don't see him going elsewhere, but I think he's just waiting for the announcement of when the season's going to start before he signs a deal. Alright, then you got the re-signed. They re-signed Jake DeBrusk, 2 years, $3.675 million per year. Decently priced deal. Probably would have wanted a little bit more term on that, I'm sure, but because after 2 years, he'll probably, I want to say he'll be eligible for arbitration. Or is he already? I'd have to look that up. I'm sorry. No, after 2 years, he's either going to be UFA or he's going to be arbitration eligible again. So he's probably going to have to be paid probably in the $5 to $6 million range at the end of that, if they keep him. Then you have Zach Senyshyn, 1 year, $700,000. He'll probably be minor league, most likely. Same with Carson Kuhlman, 2 years, $725,000. I always say this guy's name wrong. Mark Grzelcyk, I want to say is how you say it. 4-year extension, $3.6875 million per year. That'll help with their back end. He's a pretty solid defender. They re-signed Kevin Miller to a $1.25 million deal. His is weird. They let him go to free agency on the day of free agency began on October 9th, and then re-signed him later that day. It's like you couldn't have re-signed that deal before he went to free agency, but they re-signed him. It doesn't matter really. Earlier in the year, they re-signed Anders Bjork to an extension, 3 years, $1.6 million per. Dan Vladar, I don't know why I put extension next to his name. I believe that was entry level for him. 3 years, $750,000 per. Alright, salary cap situation. They're sitting about $2.9 million in space. So, not too bad for a team that has been a top team for the last couple of years. This is where they're going to get help starting next year, is they're probably going to let David Krejci go, is my guess. I mean, that or if they keep him, he'll probably play about 30, 40 games a year probably, because he seems to be hurt constantly. But when he plays, he's solid. So, re-sign him for cheaper than that. He's not probably worth the $7.25 million that he gets now. So he'll be gone. I mean, you got Bergeron for another year, then they'll re-sign him. Charlie Coyle they got for a few years. DeBrusk they just re-signed. Andre Kasha and Nick Ritchie, who they got from the Ducks. Those two are RFAs, arbitration eligibility after this year. Same with Anton Blith down there at the bottom. You can see him right there. UFAs and Curley and Parlindholm and Craig McCaig. So that's where they sit with upcoming free agents. I mean, my guess is, though, from what I've heard, there have been rumors they're trying to trade Kasha already, which is fine. Trade him away, that's their choice. Richie, I have a feeling, unless he turns it around this year, he's going to be signed for maybe $1 million next year. So, we'll see. On the back end, they got McAvoy, Grzelcyk, They got John Moore for a couple more years, Connor Clifton, and Jeremy Lauzon. And Brandon Carlo will be RFA after this year, probably make a bit more. After this year for goalies, they got Rask and Halak are both UFAs. And their success this year really, to me, hinges on Tuukka Rask, whether he plays or not. Because he left them in the middle of the playoffs last year. And I think that really hurt him, and that's why they got eliminated, which benefited my favorite team, the Ducks, because we got their first round pick. So I'm not too sad about that, but for a Boston fan, you're sad. But Tuukka Rask and Halak as free agents after this year, they're going to have to sign probably Rask back at least and hope that he plays this year. Currently under injured reserve, they have Pastrnak and Marchand and Kevin Miller. But Kevin Miller will probably be up here making Lauzon the 7th defender, is my guess. And then you got David Backes, who they're still paying $1.5 million for one more year for him to play for the Ducks. Another part of that first round pick going to the Ducks. Alright. You got, as our non-roster forwards, they got Trent Frederick. He's RFA. Cameron Hughes. I'm going to try to say that name. Yuna Kopanen, RFA. Robert Lantosi. Zach Senyshyn. And Paul Carey as free agents after this year. So, that's where I stand with that. And then you got the defense, Steven Kampfer, who also did not play in the playoffs last year due to the pandemic. Nick Wolf, goalies, they got Callum Booth will be at RFA after this year. Alright, so their draft for this last year. Their first pick was number 58, Mason Lowry, a defender. An 89th, Trevor Kuntar, center. Number 151, Mason Langenbrunner, defender. I believe that's the son of former NHL Jamie Langenbrunner. I could be incorrect, but I want to say it is. And at number 182, they got Riley Duran. So their draft wasn't a huge one this year, but I don't think they've had a huge one in a few years since that year they had 3 consecutive first-round picks in the middle of the first round, and those first-round picks were not the greatest. Jake DeBrusk is, but they also got Zobro and Senyshyn, and neither one has really stepped up to first-round abilities considering they passed on some really dang good players for them. Alright, here's where their draft picks stand for the next 3 years. Next year they've got all their picks except for all their picks and Toronto's 7th round pick. So that's where they stand. I mean, chances are they'll trade these away because they'll probably trade to improve the team. So here's the lineup. Let me show you one thing first. They do have Marchand and Pastrnak marked as injuries, so they're not in the lineup. They'll be in the first line, we know that, which will probably push down Bjork and Smith down to the second line, which will push DeBrusk to third line, Kasha to third. Kuhlman probably will be taken out. Partland Holm probably be extra. So Ritchie will be the fourth line left wing. And DeBrusk third line left wing. And Kasha third line left wing. That's who I was missing. Okay. And Bjork and Smith will probably play second line with Krejci. So that's where their lineup will stand. I mean, pretty solid lineup. I mean, first line, we know they're going to be unstoppable. Their second line will be pretty good. Third line will be pretty good. Their fourth line will be pretty good too. Not offensively, but they'll be a solid shutdown and energy line, that's for sure. Their defense is where they've changed. I mean, they re-signed Chara. You know he'll probably plug in right down here, probably pushing Clifton out. You also have, what's his name? Kevin Miller, who probably plug in instead of Lauzon, or maybe Lauzon stays. Who knows? But that's where they stand. So their defense could get better. Or I don't know if they'd be better because Chara's 43, I think, he's turning 43 this year. So it's like, I don't know. I think he still could be a solid defender, but he's definitely not going to provide the offense he used to. He's not going to be playing as many minutes as he used to. And this is the big thing right here, is if, like I said, Tuukka Rask decides to sit out this year, then that will be just devastating to this team, because I don't think they have anybody ready to come up and take over that starting position. I mean, Halak will be the starter, but I don't know how Halak's going to do the whole year by himself. Sorry about that. And they're saying scratches will be Miller, who's on the IR, Trent Frederick, and Jack Studnicka. So we'll see, because I think Studnicka could even make the team possibly, and Frederick could too. Both good young players, so we'll see. This is a non-roster player forwards and D-man and goalie that they listed. Once again, this is all from Cap Friendly. Yeah, there's not a whole lot there to add help if they need it. But, I mean, players can play. I mean, they'll play. It's just whether or not they're going to add anything effectively. Here's their loan list up here. You can see they got quite a few guys up there right now. Like Zobro's loaned out right now. So is Euro Vakanainen. Vakanainen is how I'll go with saying that. So, and then that's their prospects and their reserve list as well. Now, their top prospects are Jack Studnicka, who played 2 games for, I think that's Studnicka. I'm guessing that's how you say his name. He played 2 games for Boston, had 1 assist for 1 point, and 60 games in the AHL for 49 points. So he may play this year. Same with Euro Vakanainen. This guy's name is fun. You know he's from Finland with that name. Vakanainen. Okay, I'm just going to skip it. Okay, Euro. We'll just go with his first name. Played 5 games with Boston, no points, and 54 AHL games for 14 points. Which to me tells me he's not necessarily an offensive defender, more of a defensive guy. Which wouldn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to have those guys. Then you got John Beecher, forward, 31 NCAA games, 16 points. Jeremy Swayman, a goalie, 34 NCAA games, 18, 10, and 5 was his record. Then Jacob Zobril, 58 AHL games, 19 points. So in their top 5 prospects, the 5th one is a guy who was drafted 4 years ago. So it's not looking like he's going to accomplish much, getting 19 points in the AHL, being a forward. You never know. I mean, he could be a solid 4th liner, 3rd liner even maybe, but that's about it at best. Others mentioned top prospects that I found listed online was Curtis Hall, 27 NCAA games, 27 points. Oscar Steen, 60 AHL games, 23 points. Goalie Dan Volader, 14-7-1 in the AHL. Jakob Lako, left winger, 9 points in 22 AHL games, which tells me he probably got hurt because it didn't say he played anywhere else. Trent Frederick, a center, 59 AHL games, 32 points. So, those are your top prospects. Now, the season outlook, because of the division, if the divisions go the way they're talking, Boston will be in a division with Buffalo, New Jersey, New York Islanders, New York Rangers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington. The main threats to them in that one are going to be Washington, Philly if they play like last year, but Philadelphia seems to play every other year good, so we'll see. New York Rangers, I think, are an upcoming team, but I don't think they're going to challenge for that top spot. Islanders, I think they're going to go down a bit. I mean, they had a good year last year, good playoff, but with their cap issues and just having a tougher division, I think they're going to be more like the 4th or 5th team. Probably 5th or 6th, actually, honestly. And I think the bottom one is definitely going to be New Jersey, and Buffalo probably won't be far behind, but they even improved themselves too. So it might surprise people as well. So it could be New Jersey, the Islanders, then Buffalo, then the Rangers, then Boston or Pittsburgh. Actually, I think Pittsburgh, then Boston, 3rd, then Philadelphia, then Washington is where I think it might fill out, I think. But I think they'll be middle of their division for sure. They'll still be a good team. I mean, as long as they can stay healthy and they keep Tuukka Rask. They lose Tuukka Rask, I think they may have a bit more problem. But they're still going to be a dang good team. So that's where we stand. So good luck to the Boston team next year, and I hope everybody enjoyed. And make sure to subscribe. Hit that notification button up in the corner. And make sure to like, comment, share, and I will see you next video, everybody. Bye.